John, a father whose belief in his family was shattered by a dark truth hidden from view. He chose a path of silent, deliberate justice, proving that some punishments are far more terrible than death. The smell hit me first, damp wood, rust, and a faint rot beneath the scent of cleaning chemicals. Then I heard a cough, a chain clinking against concrete. I followed the sound down the narrow hall and found my daughter. Emily. She was thin, her face pale, her eyes empty. Her wrist was cuffed to a pipe. A damp, filthy blanket was wrapped around her. When she saw me, she whispered one word, "Dad." My hands shook as I reached for the lock, but she pulled back, her voice ragged. "Help my son first." Her son, my grandson. I froze. "He's gone," I said, my voice breaking. "They told me he was dead." Her head turned slowly, her eyes wide with desperation. And then I saw the faint outline of a small handprint smeared on the wall. It was fresh and alive. My stomach turned to ice. The world had told me my grandson was buried months ago. A car accident, they said. A closed casket. My daughter, too weak with grief to even speak. I accepted it because grief blinds you. But now the lies stood in front of me, shaking in chains. I knew I couldn't just lash out. Rage without strategy is just noise. I needed to be quiet. I began to watch and listen. The boy had to be here somewhere. I heard footsteps that were too light to be a man's, and whispers at night when my son-in-law David left the house. I found a small shoe tucked beneath a floorboard and a scrap of paper with a child's handwriting that read, "Help us." I studied David's every move. He left early and came home late, always controlled. But his eyes gave him away flickers of paranoia when I mentioned the boy's name. I dug into his records. Bank withdrawals that didn't match his salary. Transactions tied to places where children vanish. I pieced it all together night after night. David hadn't lost the boy. He had hidden him. I already knew why. Cruelty is never random. It's chosen and perfected. The truth came in a file I slid across the table, just as rot always reveals itself. Photos, dates, and proof. My son-in-law wasn't just hiding my grandson. He was selling him like property to men who paid to destroy innocence in the dark. When I confronted my daughter with the evidence, her silence was worse than screams. She already knew. She had stayed silent, out of fear, held by chains heavier than steel. I walked into his kitchen that night, the file in my hand. David looked up, startled, a glass of whiskey halfway to his lips. I placed the folder on the table. He opened it, his face drained of color. He looked at me, searching for anger, for a fist, but I gave him nothing, only silence. And silence is a mirror. He saw himself in it and began to break. I didn't call the police yet. I wanted him to live with it first, the knowing, the waiting, the collapse of the world he had built. Every day he watched me. Every night he wondered when the end would come. His hands shook. His sleep turned shallow. His drinking grew heavier. I set Emily free. I found the hidden room where my grandson lay curled beneath a blanket, alive but silent, with eyes too old for his years. When my son-in-law saw them both gone, he knew. I didn't say a word. I didn't have to. I left the file on his bed, with every page of his sins staring back at him. Then I walked away, taking with me the 2 souls he thought he owned. The police stormed his house 2 days later. They found him there, a rope around his neck, the file still open beside the bed. The world called it suicide. I called it justice. I watched my daughter hold her son again, their bodies trembling against each other. There were no words that could fix what he'd broken, but survival is its own kind of revenge, and I had given them that. As for me, I felt no triumph, just the calm of a storm that had passed. When you peel back the skin of a family, you don't always find blood. Sometimes you find chains, and when chains break, someone always hangs in their place.